Hey all, so in this video we're going to go over the practice AP questions at the end of both part 1 and part 2 of the production possibilities curve or the PPC Google Slides. So let's get started. So our first question asks us which of the following statements is true. And so we have our PPC here, and so remember anything inside the curve like at point E we are going to say is underemployment of resources or underutilization of resources. Right? Anything on the curve, right? A, B, C, right? Let's mark this in red, right? That is going to be efficient. And then here, anything outside the curve, let's erase that. So anything outside the curve is going to be impossible without trade, right? If we can trade or if something changes with one of the shifters of the PPC, then we could reach point D. But by itself, on this graph right now, it is impossible to obtain. So let's go through the answer choices. So A, if country-wide is producing at point C, it is using all of its resources efficiently. Well, yeah, that's true, right? Because point C is right here. It's on the curve, so A is the correct answer. No need to go past it. And so remember, when you're taking the exam, right, there's going to be 60 multiple choice questions. You only have 70 minutes to do them, right? So as you go through the answer choices, you know one is 100% correct. Don't even look at the other ones. Circle it, move on. So for this one, according to the graph above, right, if a country is currently producing at point X, so right here, the opportunity cost of producing another consumer good is what? So here, at point X, they are producing 50 capital goods, and then they are also producing 3 consumer goods. So here, if all of a sudden, right, they're saying, well, here, what happens if they want to produce one more consumer good? How many capital goods are they giving up? Well, here, they used to be able to produce 50, right? But now, at 4 consumer goods, they're only producing 30 capital goods. So here, what is the opportunity cost? Well, the opportunity cost is going to be the difference between 50 and 30, which is going to be 20 capital goods, which is answer choice A. Right. And so here, right, it can't be B because you can't have an opportunity cost that's more or fewer. Opportunity cost is more or less going to be a static number, right? So it can't be B, C, or E or fewer. D is incorrect only because to produce more consumer goods, right, you're giving up capital goods, right? So that's the opportunity cost. And so that's why if you're producing more consumer goods, you can't be giving up more consumer goods. So that's why D is also the incorrect answer here. The next one. So essentially this one is saying, why is our PPC like this? And so we said it's because of increasing opportunity cost. And for this one, it's just sort of you have to know concave just means this type of PPC, and that type, and the curved PPC just means we have increasing opportunity costs, and that's why. All right. So here, which would be true? So if resources are perfectly substitutable, in other words, you can use resources, all your resources, to create either good. And so we said, right, if resources are perfectly substitutable, that our PPC is just going to be a straight line, and that is called a constant cost or constant opportunity cost here. And so here, it's not 0, so A is incorrect. The PPC curve would be a straight line. That is correct, right? C, especially that mutually beneficial trade would be impossible. That's not correct either because we can always specialize and we can always trade, and that's with comparative advantage. A D, no country individual would have a comparative advantage in any activity. That's not true, right? There should be comparative advantage. And scarcity of resource would be unlimited. Yet again, not true because there's always going to be scarcity. This one. So this one, I don't really like this question, mainly because I don't think the answer choices are that great. I think there's a better answer choice here. But here, which of the following must be true for a straight line PPC? So a constant opportunity cost PPC. Well, here, the opportunity cost of producing another unit is constant. True or false? Well, that's true, right? That's where there's a reason why it's called the constant opportunity cost here. Number 2, resources are completely adaptable to alternative uses. In other words, you can use resources for producing for good A to produce good B, which is also true for constant opportunity cost. resources are used efficiently. Well, yet again, technically, that is true. But the way that this question is worded is saying only for an economy with a straight line are resources used efficiently. So what this question is essentially saying is that for part 3, it's essentially saying that this is only true for a straight line production possibilities curve, which is not true, right? Resources are used efficiently if you're just on any type of PPC, whether you have the concave bowed out PPC or you have the constant opportunity cost PPC. As long as you're on the curve, you are efficient. So we know A, B, and C are incorrect. We know D is the correct answer here. In my opinion, 1, 2, and 3 are all correct here, but it's just the way the question was worded, which is why I think this is a poorly written question here. Lastly, 45. So all the following are true except. So yet again, remember, inside the curve, we are inefficient. X and W, right? If you're on the curve, you are efficient. If Y is unattainable without trade or without something changing, right? So here we're trying to find out the false statement. A, producing at point C results in the underutilization of resources. Well, that's true, right? Underutilization is just another word for efficient, right? If we're on the PPC at like point X and point W, that means you're using all of your resources. That's one of the assumptions of our PPC. So A is correct, which means we can't be an answer choice. B, the combination represented at point Y is unattainable. That's true, right? Resources are fully utilized at points W and X. Yet again, that's true. They're on the PPC. That means they have full employment of resources. Part D, producing at point X will result in greater economic growth than producing at point W. Well, here at point X, we're closer to capital goods. At point W, we're only producing consumer goods. And so remember what we talked about with capital goods, right? So capital goods are just goods that produce other goods. And so what that means is if you that produce other goods. So if you produce more capital goods, that means in the future, you can produce a whole lot more, right? Because you're producing goods that produce other goods. So at the end of the day, you can produce more if you have more of those goods that produce other goods. And so here, D is also correct, which for our question, because we're trying to find the false statement, is actually incorrect here. And so E is the only false statement out of these 5. Point X represents the most efficient combination of 2 goods. Well, is it productively efficient? Yes, because it's on the PPC. Is it allocatively efficient? Is whatever this country? Remember, allocative efficiency is you're producing what the country wants, and so we don't know. We don't know anything about this country, so we can't say with absolute certainty that it is the most efficient combination of the 2 goods. All right, guys. So that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or bring it up in our next Google Meet. And so that's all I have for you guys today. Peace.